Hello everybody and welcome to episode 43 with the one and only Pooja. I first met Pooja back in 2018, 2019 working on EIPs. So back in the day, if you had some initiative, if you were coming into the space and you wanted to publish something, you wanted to make a standard, you wanted to meet other people, it wasn't always clear what you needed to do. And the way that I did it was kind of like driving a train and laying the tracks at the same time, right? So I was working on one standard and the process wasn't very clear on how to get this done. And so the way that I got it done was just being loud and annoying, figuring out who had the keys, who had the responsibility and that could approve these things, and then fighting for the opportunity to be seen and to have it reviewed. But that's not scalable. You can't just have a lot of loud and annoying people always screaming for attention when they want their things to be reviewed. And so it's great when there can be a community to just come up, show what people are looking for and show that there's a consensus for this, and then get those tracks laid for everybody. And that's exactly what Pooja did. With Ethereum Cat Herders, this is a group that was collecting feedback on the EIP process, how to make collaboration better, how to bring people in. I guess this is an unofficial group at the beginning. It was just enthusiasts who were aligned and then had the same ideas working together. When you make a group and you have this agreement, it's really powerful because then you can go ask for permissions and you can ask for the rules to achieve things. This is really the next step that made this more accessible to the programmers and the standardizers and the people that wanted to build these things so that they could have a path forward. So super helpful. But that's only the small part that I know. Maybe you can have a better introduction.
My understanding is Ethereum Cat Herders were the name. It was decided in one of the events in Prague, where a few client developers and Hudson Jameson, who was the coordinator at the time for all core dev meeting, they were meeting and they were looking for some support for these meetings and coordination among clients. At the time, all core dev meeting was the only place where every client member meet and discuss about the network upgrade, like which EIP should get in and how we can test on that. There are a lot of other coordination related activities involved before a proposal is deployed on main chain, and they were having hard time coordinating with one another client. So they thought of this working group where all people are from different part of the world. So in case of emergency, they should not be only US based people who are able to respond to them. It can be any part of the world. It was named as Cat Herders because it was more like bringing everyone together, and cats are not that good in listening, so we thought that it would be a great idea to have that kind of name, and that's the story I heard. And we have people from different part of the world. Any time zone should be answered. Many people may have heard about the DAO attacks. So when it happened, it was a case of emergency. Like everyone needs to be informed, right? So we wanted to have a group which can take the responsibility of it. The Ethereum Cat Herders started reaching out to all infrastructure providers, all miners, and we kind of built a rapport with them that if we have to reach out to you, there is always a point of contact, either a quick email or a telegram or whatever is best working place for you, we can reach out to you there. So all these things were put together by the team of Cat Herders. These were like initial steps that we tried to bring the community closer, because there were a lot of loose ends. Everyone is doing something in their own world. But when we want to run this decentralized chain, we want that everybody should be in sync. Without lock steps, Ethereum client cannot even work. So I think Ethereum Cat Herders was brought in place to have these people working together, and it's more like herding them. Probably that was the reason.
That was the client focus. We're saying client, we're talking about core EIPs and the network consensus layer of Ethereum. But that's not how I know you, and that's not how most people know you. So what was the switch here? What brought you into what I see as your more public-facing role?
You're right. I think the Ethereum Cat Herder was put in place because of core and client requirement. I joined Ethereum Cat Herders in late January. I think early February, I started actually publishing newsletters from Ethereum Cat Herders. I think after 6 months working with client devs, I felt like there is a big gap between community and the people they are working here. And if we can somehow help bridge this gap, probably we can bring everybody together and it will be way lot easier. So I started looking into the EIP process. Try to fix up the process, like why we are taking so long to keep discussing a proposal for like months. And
Years.
when it is deployed, and when it is deployed, people say that I'm not aware of it. What's going on? How can you come up with this thing? Why did you not inform us? So this communication gap, because in all quarter meeting, they were only talking in tech terms. Normal people, normal users, even the infra providers, they were not able to sometimes get that through. So I started this Peep and Eep, I think in late 2020. Then we thought of discussing these proposals before it is considered for an upgrade. So while I was inviting authors for core proposal to talk to and state why they want this proposal to be a part of Ethereum protocol, we started feeling that most of the ERC proposals are hanging in the air. They do not know where to go because the EIP editors, they were core devs. People who are focused, they are only into core level EIPs and protocol level discussion only. So ERC proposals are not getting enough attention. Then we came up with this idea of onboarding ERC editors. So Ethereum Cat Herders ran this program of EIP editing internship. You come, join us, learn about editing process. If you are into ERCs, like looking into application layer proposals, that would be the best. And that helped us a lot because we were successfully able to get attention of few reviewers, like external contributors, like they are not an EIP editor, but they were able to provide good feedback. That helped us move proposals way faster than it was earlier. And along the way, we tried to look into areas which were like not fully fleshed and where help was needed. So we started filling up the gaps, and eventually I think I am working more on EIP's process improvement than I was doing on the networking side. Although networking is still like the Ethereum network upgrades are still our core capabilities, and we do document Ethereum nodes.
And your influence only begins here. You talked about how you like the way that this work fits into your life, or these activities fit into your life. None of this is work, right? Do we see you at conferences? Do you still travel?
Up till now, I haven't been traveling outside my city. So conferences which are nearby, I try to attend that. Unfortunately, I'm not making up to Bogota. But I'm hoping that I'll be out soon. Now my kids are grown up. It's just that because of 2 years of home, they are so fond of mom. And I'm hoping like in next 6 months or so, they would be like well versed because now their school have started. They have started going out in a habit of leaving mom for some time.
Good. We're still learning how to do that in my house too.
Yeah. I'm not sure, Daniel, do you have any question? Probably I can take that.
Yeah, I wonder if there are any key stories of particular EIPs or discussions in one of the...
Yeah, I would like to share something. I don't know if we can consider it as a story, but I think it is going to be helpful for a few DApp developers possibly and a few authors of EIPs. Yeah. So when a proposal comes there into the repository in form of draft, that is not in the final status, and there are chances that there are a few more proposals close to the one which is already existing, and with a little change here and there, they are there, and people will be like, let's move ahead with one proposal. For example, I can talk about URL URI proposals. There are multiple proposals on repository as of now, and we do not have a standard to be followed. So in that case, what we did is like we tried to invite all these authors. I pulled out EIPs which where like either URL or URI related, call them on a call on Ethereum Cat Herders like YouTube channel. We have this video, and we started discussing with authors. Can we work together? Can we come up with a consensus on which is the best proposal to be moved forward, so we can show that as a standard for community to follow. Like if any dApp developer wants to build a project and is looking to implement one of the URL URI related EIP as a standard to be implemented in its project, a wallet dev is looking for that, then they should get it. It turned out to be helpful, and thanks to Sam William, he also organizes this all wallet dev meeting, in which like all these kind of EIPs plus the infrastructure provider, they are invited, they come together and they talk about the proposal. I feel like this is a good example of building standard around Ethereum, and I hope that we can have something similar for NFTs as well. As of now, I can see that there are more than 30 proposals in draft, and we have like 4 or 5 proposals in final. And most of the proposals are like a little bit changed, but they are very similar. So if we can have some kind of working group, and we can like call all the authors and try to help and come up with good set of proposals that would be useful for people trying to implement that or follow EIPs. So I think Ethereum Cat Herders try to help build consensus around proposals, not only for ERCs but also for core proposal. I can mention one more EIP 1559, which when it was introduced was under a lot of controversy, and we organized a big community call inviting miners, infrastructure providers, client developers and researchers, and we have them on a platform discussing what are the advantages and disadvantages of implementing this proposal on chain. It's always a trade-off of coming up with the best result, but I think we are trying to help people come together and come to a consensus that can be implemented.
What's your advice for somebody who's has an idea and wants to immediately turn this into a product? I have an idea, let's go standardize it.
Right. I don't think that we need to have it standardized right in the beginning, because I have heard some of the EIP editors complaining about this concept that most of the ERCs that we receive are not a standard, but they are basically a project like, okay, I built up this thing and now this is a standard. I think if you have an idea, you are free to build a project, but that project should not be a standard for Ethereum. However, if you want to keep your project open source, you are definitely sharing it with the community, and people can follow something that can be implemented in other projects as well. What we want to have in Ethereum repository is a standard that is or can be applicable on multiple projects, and it should not be a project specific.
Yeah, but there's a very good practical reason to do that, to abuse the system. If you have an idea and you don't know if it works, and you go start an EIP, you're going to get a lot of feedback. That's what people want, is they want the feedback. So game theory wise, it's a winning strategy to just dump your idea on EIP, because that's going to get you a lot of exposure. Even if the EIP doesn't go through, that is marketing in of itself. Selling the EIPs up to 10,000 because they're just such valuable numbers. They're marketing in their own. What do you tell to those people?
If you want to build a project, then you should first try to bring into pieces and try to look for the standard which are already existing. That would not only help you build your project faster, but you will also get to build on codes which are well tested. But if you really want to have it and collect the community feedback, I think sharing that as an idea on Fellowship of Ethereum Magician will help you get a lot of attention. You really do not have to invest time going through the EIP standardization process, but because believe me, if you really want to document that as a proposal, we are trying to enforce certain rules, and that cannot be fun if you are really not vested into building a standard.
That's great. So you're inviting people to fellowship to post project ideas, not just thinly veiled projects as standards.
Well, my idea is to, like, if you have an idea, you want to talk about it, I think Fellowship of Ethereum Magician is a good place where you can get attention of people. You do not have to create a pull request in the first place. Start discussing, and if you get a sense that people are interested and they would be looking forward to an EIP, if you document your thoughts over there, then proceed towards documenting it.
No, this is good because people just want to join the community. If you want to write an EIP, there's a flowchart. You are here. You do this, you get here. You do this, and you show up on this list. They look at the EIP, they're like, okay, all I have to do is start here, follow these steps, and then I'm carved in stone, and then somehow I make 2% of everybody's money. Like, that's what they're thinking. Maybe there's another path to victory where they have this idea, I'm going to make 2% of everybody's money, and then we can give them a couple other steps where they get maybe some achievement, recognition for making a well-developed idea and presenting it. Why don't you write a blog? Why don't you blog this idea? Why don't you blog the idea in a few what-ifs? And then I will read it, and I'll put your name somewhere. Maybe I'll send them a t-shirt. Hey, I wrote a blog post of a new idea, and I took the time to write it up. Maybe this t-shirt will be valuable, just like these 4-digit EIP numbers are valuable.
Right. I think here, like, when you are documenting a proposal, documenting a standard, and parallelly you are working on building up a project, your project will be recognized for sure. I run this show Peep and Eep with Ethereum Cat Herders. So in this show, we try to invite authors and have them explain the proposal they have documented. This also helps talk about their project. Like, I have met multiple authors who have proposed a standard, and they are willing to move forward with it. Some of them are in final status as well. So when they are presenting this proposal, when they are talking about it, there is a section of implementation, and there they are talking about how they have implemented it in their project. However, because it is a standard, there can be a different implementation of it too. It can be implemented in a little different way with some other project. But I guess that is an opportunity to talk more about your project, showcase it, and let people know that this is also something available for you to use. So I personally feel that people who are in Ethereum ecosystem, they have multiple opportunities to grow themselves, to grow the community, and showcase their project. It's just that sometimes people are not aware of the right place from where to start. That is what we are trying to do here, like communicate that you can reach out to people, and you can talk about your project.
What's your deeper motivation here? Why do you think blockchain is helping the world?
It helped me a lot. One question that probably I did not answer, what is my motivation to be here? Why I'm here in the first place? So I'll tell you, when I started in 2016, I had a baby of 2 years. And it was my time when I was trying to get back to my workspace. I worked for Accenture for some time, and I went on maternity leave, and then I moved to a different country. I had to leave my job. And when I moved here, so it was a new place and everything all, I was looking for a job. But there was nothing available to me in where I don't have to leave my baby and go out for work, right? Blockchain helped me over there. I started doing things sitting in my place, and till date, I do not go out. Like, I have a team on Ethereum Cat Herders as well as on my Ether World side, and I manage everything by being in home. So that is one of the best things that I found of blockchain. And there are other things as well, like people who do not want to travel is like not only within city but outside countries and everything else. Plus, it also makes people more independent. Being a woman, I can say that being financially independent is one of the things that every woman dream of. And I like that too. It helped me. It helped me make money when I was having a baby. I mean, like, obviously, I volunteered for a very long time, but now we are being supported by grant, so that is there too. I think this provides opportunity to many people who wants to change their stream, as you were mentioning, like how to leave the mainstream job, right? So they can try to enter by contributing to a certain hours that can be after their office hours. So it does not stop you from contributing in the first place. It's not like your second job, which requires to be in the 9 to 5 time period. You can do whenever you want to. And like I am here working from the United States, my team is there in India, and I work with people in different geographic location. You will find an intersection of time zone where you can talk to everyone. I think there are multiple advantages. It also lets the people be anonymous if they would like to. Like I am here on camera with my face on, but I know there are great contributors whom we do not know. They are never on camera. They can live in any part of the world and they are still contributing. So it gives us the option of making our own choices. I think blockchain is the best thing that has happened to me.
I feel like that's the future of a lot of projects. You know, a successful podcast. Teams are international. Some people are anonymous. They find them on gig websites. Maybe the only thing that you've said here that's specific to Ethereum is the grants. Community-directed grants can be large. They can, they can be more money than a real job. Maybe that's the missing part. For some of these other pirate efforts, where they're community and they're starting, you don't get money until you sell the product. Here, you get money when you sell the vision. So maybe that's the part that's unique. But I'm glad this has worked out for you. I'm glad that you've been able to work across the geographies and with the teams that this has really, been a good fit for you. Otherwise, we wouldn't have you here. If it wasn't a good fit, you'd be working, at Accenture.
Definitely, like I would be working some 9 to 5 kind of thing. Yeah, I'm happy here. It's not like a regular job, but that gives a lot of pleasure. Like I get to meet a lot of people. In my job, it is only limited to the room, like in a bay where we are sitting, right? All devs, we are talking to each other, or sometimes on conference call 1 or 2 people. But here, these conferences are there, right? If you want to really meet people, we can go to blockchain conferences, and those are not limited to one particular blockchain. You may support some of the ideas they are doing. Like we can have the best things implemented in our own project. I think it has a lot of advantages than any other Web2 projects, but it depends on person and perspective.
Nice.
I think one other important thing that I'd like to hear your thoughts on, Pooja, is when I go to the meetings or when I meet people, blockchain Web3 projects in the Ethereum ecosystem, it is still pretty dominated by white dudes from rich countries. And I'm curious, like, your thoughts on that, how to address that, because I don't think that's the vision that the community that is Ethereum has for itself over the long term.
I think that's a good question. As you were mentioning that white dude, let me just break it up. It's mostly like boys area. Even if we don't consider black and white, mostly you will find men working over here. Where there are very few women, and definitely color women is comparatively low in numbers. I think blockchain being decentralized, it still has an advantage of English-speaking people, and I think that may be the reason why we have this set of people more involved in there. However, we are seeing a lot of projects coming up from Africa as well. So now things are changing as we are trying to reach out and show that blockchain has opportunity for everyone, not only dev, non-dev concept, not only rich and poor countries. I mean, it is open and it cannot be controlled by borders. It cannot be controlled by government. I think we need to go very long to be there at the right place where we are in like a good ratio, we can say that, like brown, black, white, and all these people, and also in terms of female and male here, the anonymity feature of blockchain is definitely helping. We will never be able to get the right picture of it. Only we meet people, then we know, okay, fine, this is like race, color, and everything else. But when we are sitting like in all corridor meeting, we are over 80, 90 people in a meeting room. Everyone, they are like behind the camera. We don't know the participant, right? So it's very difficult to say that, because you are privileged, because you are here as an English speaking person, you are sharing all these information. They definitely have an advantage, but I think this provides us other languages as well. I have talked to people from China, like even they are not able to communicate very well in English. I have authors who gave presentations. I remember an interview with one of the client developers. He wasn't able to speak English very well, but the project that he was talking about, that was good. The presentation was good, so the information was passed on. So I believe that we will be in a right place maybe after 5, 10 years down the line, and yeah, we should try to make it more non-English centric.
In my experience, I've seen quite a bit of women in this space. The first class I ever held was all women. If we're comparing this to computer science, there's way more women in blockchain. In NFT, where we're talking about artists, we are close to 50-50 in my space.
Yeah, I would agree there. So I believe that the NFT and other not so very protocol related like projects, they have good number of women in there. But yeah, we would love to have more women in protocol side as well.
I never think of it that way. I always think about, what are the types of projects we want to help. I don't spend time thinking about how do we help women. In my space, we don't have a low woman turnout problem. But maybe we should. Maybe we should see, are women more caring about losing their jobs if their boss finds out that they're moonlighting on something and they prefer that we don't use video cameras all the time. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Maybe women are more or less likely to travel to events. This is something we should know. I feel like a lot of the events in this space are people that are sponsored or that are core devs, they're going to be at the events. Maybe this is a way that we can help with recruitment, targeting the type of people that are, that we're not seeing.
Right, I agree here. Like in case of women, I feel like there is a phase where most of the women leave their working period, right? They become mom and they spend some time with their kids. Maybe after 5 to 10 years, they want to come back to job, and it's very difficult to find a job in comparison to men at that point. Is my experience. I may be wrong. It may not be true for everyone, but I felt like that way. So in that circumstances, if we are having some program, some encouragement for these women, I believe they would be a better contributor. I'm saying better because they are actually looking to work to contribute. So whatever they are getting, they will try to give 100% to it. But also new grad students, they are looking for a job at the end of the day when they pass out to the industry, and Web2 is still existing in a very good position. But we would like to provide them a smoother transition to Web3. So we should run some program in considering them in mind also. So when they are out of their uni, they should be able to start making contribution, if not full time, part time. And I'm happy that Ethereum at least is trying to do that. We are organizing a all core dev internship program. Yeah, something is there, but I know they do run this internship program for people to train and be able to contribute. So these are providing a lot of opportunities. We just need to stay focused, stay building. Like as we say that we should not be focusing on perfection. We should try to keep progressing.
Do you have any questions for us?
Not questions, but compliments. You guys are doing a great job. I mean, I say that Ethereum Cat Herders are doing community work, but it should not be limited to cat herders, and you guys are a great example of that. This community service hour is a good platform for people to learn and share what they know and how they can help people. So thank you for making this happen. Thank you so much for the invite. I really enjoyed talking to you guys. I think this was one of the best informal chats I ever had in this industry. Like every time it is in a formal setup, but this was great. I loved it. Yeah, and I hope to see you both again on Peep and Eep. I know Daniel has a proposal in draft, and I know one proposal of William has been recently merged to final. So yeah, I am hoping to have you both on Peep and Eep someday.